Welcome back to Kleppers Corner. Today in history. September 1st. On the calendar, it looks like just another page between August barbecue regrets and the, oh God, it's already pumpkin spice season. But history? History decided this date should be the Amazon warehouse of beginnings, endings, and absolute chaos. Wars kicked off. Earthquakes leveled cities, coups toppled monarchs, legendary wrecks were found, terrorists redefined horror, and humanity even managed to kill off a bird that once darkened the skies by the billions. September 1st isn't a date. It's a greatest hits album for disaster. So let's break it down. Segment 1, The Guns of September. World War II begins. On September 1st, 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, starting World War II. But because he was the kind of guy who needed drama, he couldn't just do it. No, he had to put on a Broadway-level production first. Enter Operation Himmler, a false flag scheme so convoluted it makes QAnon look like a bunch of amateurs. German SS operatives dressed as Polish soldiers stormed a German radio station, broadcast a fake anti-German message, and left behind murdered concentration camp prisoners dressed as Poles, known by the delightful nickname Canned Goods. Nothing screams peaceful neighbor like staging corpses as evidence. And Hitler admitted the truth didn't matter. He literally told his generals, I'll provide a casus belli. Its credibility doesn't matter. Which is dictator speak for, don't fact check me, bro. Then came Blitzkrieg. Tanks, planes, and radios working together like a murderous Apple ecosystem. Poland, still trying cavalry charges, was basically the BlackBerry in a smartphone war. Britain and France declared war, but declaring war without actually helping is like Venmoing someone $5 after they're hit by a bus. By October, Poland was gone, and September 1st was cemented as the day humanity hit start game on 6 years of hell. Segment 2, The Earth Moves, the Great Kanto Earthquake. But wait, 16 years earlier, September 1st already had a disaster penciled in. The Great Kanto earthquake in 1923. A magnitude 7.9 monster hit Tokyo and Yokohama at lunch hour. Everyone had fires going for midday meals. Earthquake plus millions of overturned stoves plus typhoon winds equals Tokyo barbecue. But nobody wanted seconds. 140,000 people died, mostly from firestorms that created their own tornadoes. Yes, tornadoes of fire. Mother Nature basically cosplayed as a Michael Bay film. And humans, being humans, made it worse. Rumors spread that Koreans poisoned wells and set fires. Mobs went hunting. The official death toll for Koreans is, quote, a few hundred. Historians say, try 6,000. Martial law turned into a murder pass. Then labor activists got executed too. A natural disaster became an excuse for an ethnic purge. It was like FEMA, but if FEMA's main plan was blame the immigrants. Japan rebuilt with wider streets and fireproof buildings. And today, September 1st, is Disaster Prevention Day, which in Japan means earthquake drills. In America, it would mean a TikTok challenge called Duck and Cover with a pumpkin spice latte. Segment 3, The Colonel's Coup. Gaddafi takes Libya. Fast forward to 1969. September 1st says, why not add a coup? Young Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, just 27 years old, overthrows King Idris while Idris is out of the country. Talk about poor vacation timing. You leave for medical treatment in Greece, you come back, and your entire monarchy has been Airbnb'd. Gaddafi promised unity, justice, and freedom, which in practice meant decades of paranoia, bunkers, and Green Book philosophy that made as much sense as a stoner's diary entry. But at the time, it looked like a fresh start. He played the Cold War like Tinder, swiping right on both the Soviets and the West. France sold him Mirage jets, the Soviets sent tanks, and everyone pretended it was about ideology, not oil. Spoiler, it was about oil. September 1st, one monarch down, one eccentric dictator up. Segment 4, the Titanic discovery with bonus Cold War spy games. On September 1st, 1985, the Titanic was finally found. Robert Ballard and a French team spotted the wreck 13,000 feet down. The world cheered. James Cameron started cashing checks in his head, and Celine Dion's vocal cords warmed up. But the real story? It was a cover operation. Ballard's Navy sponsors told him, sure, find the Titanic. But first, please secretly locate our 2 sunken nuclear subs. So the Titanic was basically a side quest. You only had 12 days left after the submarine work, changed strategy, and boom, found Titanic in 8. The most famous shipwreck in history was discovered because of Cold War paranoia. And people still think science doesn't get enough funding? Just slap spy mission on your grant proposal and watch the money roll in. Segment 5. Terror in Beslan, the school siege September 1, 2004. In Russia, Knowledge Day is supposed to celebrate kids starting school. Instead, terrorists stormed Beslan School Number 1, taking 1,100 hostages, most of them kids. For 3 days, it was hell. The siege ended with explosions, gunfire, and chaos. At least 334 people died, half of them children. It remains the deadliest school shooting in history. And the tragedy only deepened. Survivors accused Russian forces of botching the rescue, firing heavy weapons into the school, starting the fires that killed dozens. So you had terrorists causing unspeakable horror and the state making it worse. Beslan became a symbol not just of terrorism, but of the nightmare scenario where the rescue feels like another attack. Segment 6, the passenger pigeon, from billions to none. On September 1, 1914, Martha the pigeon died in the Cincinnati Zoo. She wasn't just any pigeon, she was the last of her species. Passenger pigeons once numbered in the billions. Their flocks darkened skies for days. Farmers said it sounded like thunder. And then humans said, let's shoot them all. Industrial hunting wiped them out faster than you can say buffalo wings special. Lawmakers literally argued they didn't need protection because there were too many. By the time people realized the species required massive numbers to breed, it was too late. Martha sat alone in her cage until she died, the end of a species. September 1st, the day a bird that once defined abundance became history's feathered cautionary tale. Segment 7. Birthdays, death days, and everything in between. September 1st isn't just death and disaster, it's also birthdays. Edgar Rice Burroughs, creator of Tarzan. Rocky Marciano, the only undefeated heavyweight champ. Lily Tomlin, queen of comedy. Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, proof that falsetto can be weaponized. Gloria Estefan, the queen of Latin pop. And Zendaya, Hollywood's chosen one. Meanwhile, Louis XIV, the Sun King, died on this day in 1715 after a reign so long Netflix would split it into 6 seasons. Albert Speer, Hitler's architect, died too. Proof karma has a late but accurate calendar. September 1st is where legends begin and tyrants end. In conclusion, so there you have it. September 1st, the day history decided subtlety was overrated. Wars begin, earthquakes flatten, dictators rise, ships are found, children are lost, birds go extinct, and somehow Barry Gibb still hits that high note. It's a date that reminds us history is not just dates and names. It's chaos, choices, and consequences. September 1st is proof that the calendar doesn't care about your Labor Day sales. It's here to remind you that humanity's best and worst moments can share the same square on a planner. And that is worth remembering before pumpkin spice season takes over everything.